stories always come to me in the most magical of ways. It's like my muse is just ready to kick me down a new story. I think how The Secrets of Good People came to be will always take the cake. It was the late summer of 2020, and I had a release party at a restaurant in Pasadena, Florida, for a book I wrote called An Unfinished Story, which was about a woman who lost her husband and in his drawer found an unfinished manuscript, a novel. And she decided to, as a way to overcome her grief, that she would find a novelist to finish the book. And I told this to everyone that was at the party. And shortly afterwards, a woman named Lee came up to me and said, "You won't believe this, but I am sitting on an unfinished manuscript that my mother wrote back in 1970. It's a murder mystery, kind of closed door mystery like Agatha Christie. And I don't know who did it because it just stops halfway through, but I want to write it and get it published. And could I steal some of your time?" So we ended up walking on the beach a day or two later, and Lee, it was very obvious that she was so passionate about getting this project done, and I gave her my best advice. Fast forward a few years, she comes back to me and she says, "Boo, I want you to write this novel." And I really resisted because it's hard enough to get in my own head, let alone take over someone else's story. It didn't seem like anything that I could possibly do. So I pushed back. She actually went to my agent. My agent ended up reading it and said, "Boo, I think you ought to just check it out." And I was like, oh God, this is just not something I want to do. But finally, after a lot of pushing from Lee and my agent, I was out on my summer place on an island in Maine, Peaks Island, and I said, "I'm just gonna read a couple of chapters so I can politely decline." And I sat down and I read for however many hours, all the way to it just stops mid-sentence. I was so captivated. The writing was absolutely wonderful. Her mother's name, the writer's name, is Peggy. And even as I was just a couple of chapters in, I thought, this is something that I have to do. This story is a part of me and it has to be brought to the page. We have to figure out who committed the murder. And I know this is going to be tough, but I somehow am going to bring this story to life. So I reached out to Lee and we moved forward, and I spent almost a year of my life taking this story apart, rewriting it. One of the biggest challenges was making it so that it didn't read like, oh, here's Peggy's part of the story and here's Boo's part of the story. I wanted to put enough of me in the beginning so that it just read like one author. My hope was that you didn't even know that two people wrote it until you get to the author's note at the end. I was nervous at first, but I really felt like I caught some momentum, and the book truly wrote itself. It felt like there was a lot of magic and a lot of Peggy's spirit guiding me. I hope you'll check this one out. It was a really fun, gratifying book to write, and I love how it turned out. I bet you'll never figure out who did it.